Hi, sweet mamas. Welcome to Spill the Milk. In this episode, we're going to talk about cluster feeding and the chaos and why your baby wants to nurse all the time. My name's Nicki, baby whisperer, right? You see me on social media, registered nurse and internationally board certified lactation consultant, 20 years experience. And today we're talking about something that makes every new mom question everything. It's cluster feeding. If you've ever sat there at 8 p.m. wondering if your baby has turned into like a permanent attachment to your breast, if you've cried into your couch cushion because they just won't stop nursing, this one is for you. You're not crazy. Your milk is not running out, and your baby isn't broken. This is cluster feeding, and it's one of the most misunderstood, panic inducing, yet completely normal parts of early breastfeeding. Grab your water, your snacks, and maybe your sanity if you can find it, and let's break down what's actually happening and how to survive it without losing your mind. You guys, this one's very highly requested, so I'm super excited to cover it. We're going to talk about what cluster feeding actually is. So let's start with the basics. Basics are very important. Cluster feeding is when your baby feeds multiple times close together, sometimes every 30 to 60 minutes, often later in the evening, early afternoon, and sometimes even during the night. It's not random. It's not because you don't have enough milk. It's because your baby is biologically programmed to do this thing. They're placing an order for tomorrow's milk supply. Every extra nursing session sends your body a signal to ramp up production. It's also their way of getting comfort, warmth, and connection, especially in those early weeks when their nervous system is still trying to figure out how to exist outside of your body. So when they start fussing and won't settle, they're on the breast. That's their regulation system at work. It's not manipulation, and it's definitely not a sign you're failing, and this isn't going to start a bad habit. Cluster feeding during the day. Now, here's something not enough people talk about. Cluster feeding just doesn't happen at night. Some babies prefer to do their frequent back to back to back nursing sessions during the day. Maybe it's mid morning. Maybe it's right before naps. Maybe it's the whole afternoon. And if that's your baby, that's totally normal. Babies do not care what the clock says, so stop looking at it. They're operating on biology, not schedules. If your baby nurses more frequently during the day, they might be hitting a growth spurt, regulating your supply after a busy night, or tanking up to get a longer stretch of sleep later. They could even be teething, overstimulated, or just needing that reconnection time with you. Your babies go to breast for several reasons. So when you notice these patterns, I want you to shift from frustration to understanding. It's not random, it's intentional from your baby. And here's your mindset shift. This isn't chaos. This is calibration. They're teaching your body what they need. If your baby cluster feeds both day and night, you've got an efficient little milk engineer on your hands. It's exhausting, yes, but it's normal and it doesn't last forever. My tip on this is do what I call the feed and flow strategy. Feed when they cue, flow with it. Drop the guilt about the laundry, the emails, or the half-eaten lunch, or the dishes in your sink. You're doing the most important work there is in this moment. Let's touch on why evenings are sometimes feeling harder for you. Now, that said, evenings tend to feel like the worst because your hormones shift and your flow slows down. Prolactin, your milk making hormone, dips, and both you and your baby are worn out. They're overstimulated, you're overstimulated, and your body is tired. So they nurse more to regulate themselves, and to keep your supply strong, you have to keep doing this. Think of it like your baby hitting the refill button on your milk factory before bedtime. Let's talk about the myths. My milk isn't enough. All those crazy thoughts that run through your mind. Let's bust this biggest myth I hear in consults every week. Nikki, my baby's nursing nonstop. I think my milk isn't enough. You guys know 99% of the time, that is not what's going on. If your baby has at least 6 wet diapers a day, is gaining weight steadily, and is alert and satisfied at times, you're doing great. Cluster feeding does not mean low supply. Listen to it. Cluster feeding does not mean low supply. It means your baby's doing exactly what nature programs do. Signal your body to make more milk. Now, if baby's not gaining, seems lethargic, or you're in pain, that's when it's time for a lactation check. But otherwise, you're very, very good to go. Some questions I get. All right, so let's do this. All right, let's do a listener question. This one's from Emily from Texas, who says, Nikki, my 3-week-old nurses every 45 minutes from 6 to 10 p.m. I'm exhausted and I keep worrying I don't have enough milk. Is there any way to stop this? So, Emily, I love this question because every mom listening just said, same. Here's the truth. You can't stop cluster feeding. It's developmental, but you can plan for it and cope through it. Think of it like rush hour traffic. You can't make it disappear, but you can prepare so you're not stuck without gas and snacks. Set up your cluster feeding corner, your water, snacks, remote, charger, burp cloths, and a comfy pillow. Mentally block out for a bit. This is your baby's way of saying, we're growing tonight, getting ready to grow. How are you going to survive it? There's several ways. Let's talk survival mode because you deserve real help, not empty encouragement. Accept the pattern, you guys. You have to accept it. It's temporary. It peaks 3, 6, 8 weeks out and then fades away. Switch sides often during this time. If your baby fusses or slows down, just try the other breast or use breast compressions. That's one of my favorite. It keeps them active and helps your letdown. Feed earlier in the day, offer extra feeds in the afternoon so your baby's topped up before the big, long evening stretch. Let your partner handle the rest. Your job right now is feeding. Theirs is keeping you fed, hydrated, and sane. Fuel yourself. Cluster feeding burns serious calories. Eat something every time you sit down to nurse. Do some skin to skin. It's magic. It calms your baby, it boosts that oxytocin, and helps regulate your supply. Know when to reach out. Know when to ask for help. If your baby's nursing constantly and not gaining, or if feeds are painful, don't wait. That is when an international board certified lactation consultant like me needs to take a look. Virtual consultation links, you can find them posted in the description. Let's talk about the emotional side. Cluster feeding isn't just physical, it's emotional. You're tired, touched out, maybe even a little bit resentful. That's okay. You're human, not a milk machine. I know you feel like one, but you're not. If you find yourself crying while they nurse, take a breath. You're not failing, you're responding. This phase doesn't last forever, even if it feels endless now. One day they'll unlatch, roll over, and you'll realize it's over. And you'll miss it, the closeness, the way they fit perfectly against you. But for now, you're in it. You are doing awesome. Let's talk about a little bit of ways to reframe your thoughts. Instead of thinking, oh, my baby's feeding again, try, she or he is building my supply for tomorrow. It's the same event, but a completely different mindset. You're not stuck feeding endlessly. You're literally creating milk with every latch. That's biology and connection working hand in hand. Hand in hand, you guys. Cluster feeding is normal. Daytime or nighttime, doesn't matter. It's all healthy and temporary. Your milk supply is just fine. Your baby, smart and self-regulating. You're doing an amazing job. When in doubt, don't question your body. Question the myth or those falsehoods you have been told. Question them. So tonight or this afternoon, when you're on hour 3 of nonstop feeding, I want you to remember this. You're not broken. Your baby isn't broken. This is what building a milk supply looks like. You're not empty. You're enough. Always have been. If you found this episode helpful, I need you to share it with another exhausted mama who needs to hear she's not alone. And if you want extra support, come on, hang out with me on my Patreon page where I share weekly consult stories, behind the scenes advice, and the raw, unfiltered truths no one tells you in the hospital. So until next time, hang in there, sweet mama. This phase will pass, and you are doing amazing. Thanks for hanging out with me today on this episode of Spill the Milk. I cannot wait to hear what you think. Have a blessed day.